Have you ever stood at the edge of a dream so vast, it felt like staring at an ocean? The horizon is beautiful, but the distance a broken bar. The distance is terrifying. You dip your toes in the water, and it's cold. You wonder if you have what it takes to swim. You look at others who seem to be sailing effortlessly, and a quiet voice inside you whispers, a broken bar, maybe not. Maybe it's for them, but not for me. I want to tell you a story. It's not about a famous celebrity or a billionaire. It's about a man named Leo. And Leo had a dream that felt too big for his small apartment. He wanted to be a writer. Not just someone who wrote, but a writer. Someone whose words could touch hearts, change minds, and leave a mark on the world. He bought a new notebook. The smell of fresh paper and potential. He sharpened his pencils. He cleared a space on his small kitchen table, the one that also held his mail and yesterday's coffee cups. He sat down, full of fire, and he wrote. For hours, he poured his soul onto the page. The words flowed like a river. He finished the first chapter of his novel, and he felt alive, truly alive. In a way he hadn't in years. This was it. This was his calling. The next day, he rushed back to the table, eager to continue the magic. But the magic was gone. The river had dried up to a trickle. Every sentence felt forced. Every word felt wrong. He deleted more than he wrote. The fire from the day before was now just a flicker, struggling against a cold wind of doubt. Who did he think he was? What made him think he could write a novel? The world didn't need another writer. The voice was back. And this time, it wasn't whispering, it was shouting. So, he closed his laptop just for the day. He told himself he needed to recharge. The next day, he felt tired. He'd had a long day at work. The table was messy. He'd do it tomorrow. Tomorrow came, and a friend called, wanting to meet for dinner. He went. The day after, he just didn't feel inspired. The muse wasn't visiting. And just like that, days turned into weeks. The notebook gathered dust. The dream started to feel like a memory, something he'd tried once, a brief, beautiful flare that had burned out too quickly. This is where most stories end. This is the moment where dreams are filed away under a almost and a what if. But this is not where Leo's story ends, because something happened. A small, seemingly insignificant thing. He was cleaning his apartment, trying to outrun the quiet guilt he felt every time he looked at that kitchen table, and he found the notebook. He didn't open it. He couldn't bear to, but he didn't throw it away either. He just moved it from the table to his desk, and the next morning, instead of reaching for his phone, he found himself sitting at the desk. He didn't open the notebook. He opened a blank document on his computer, and he wrote one sentence. It was a terrible sentence. He knew it was terrible, but he wrote it, and then he closed the computer and went to work. He did the same thing the next day. One sentence. Some days, it was two. Some days, it was just a single word. There were no fireworks, no feeling of divine inspiration. It was just a broken bar task, a small, daily task, like brushing his teeth. It felt mechanical. It felt pointless. He wasn't writing a novel. He was just putting words in a row. The dream felt further away than ever, buried under this pile of mediocre sentences. But a month later, he looked up and realized he had 10 pages. They weren't good pages, but they existed. They were real, and something subtle had shifted inside him. The act of sitting down was no longer a battle. It was a habit. The voice of doubt was still there, but it was quieter, like background noise he had learned to tune out. He wasn't waiting for inspiration anymore. He was building it, brick by brick, sentence by sentence. He kept going. Rainy days, sunny days, days he felt brilliant, days he felt like a fraud. He showed up. The one sentence became a paragraph. The paragraph became a page. There were weeks where he felt he was regressing, where every word was a struggle. He'd read what he wrote the previous week and cringe. It was awful. He wanted to delete it all, but he didn't. He made a new rule for himself. You can edit bad writing, but you can't edit a blank page. So he left the awful words there and wrote new, slightly less awful words after them. This went on for a year. A full year. No grand announcements to friends. No celebrations. Just the quiet, daily rhythm of showing up. The discipline had become its own kind of fuel. The effort itself had become the point. The dream was no longer a distant destination on a map. It was the path he walked every single day. And then, one evening, he finished. He typed the 2 words he never thought he would see. the end. He felt a broken bar quiet. There was no massive euphoria, no screaming from the rooftops. There was a deep, profound, and steady sense of accomplishment, a peace. He had kept a promise to himself, a promise made and kept not in one grand gesture, but in 1,000 small, invisible ones. He edited the manuscript, which was a different kind of hard work. He sent it to a handful of literary agents, fully expecting the silence or the polite rejections that every writer is told to expect, and they came, one after another. Form letters thanking him for his submission, but it wasn't right fit. He filed them away. He felt the sting, but it was different now. The rejection didn't feel like a judgment on his dream, it felt like a closed door, and he had built up enough resilience from his daily practice to simply look for the next door. One agent, however, wrote something more. She said, "The writing is raw in places, but there is a compelling rhythm to the prose. It feels a broken bar earned. The characters feel lived in. Please send me the full manuscript." Months later, Leo had a publishing deal. The day his book arrived in the mail, a real, physical book with his name on the cover, he cried. Not tears of joy, not exactly. They were tears of release. Tears for all those mornings he showed up when he didn't want to. Tears for the man who almost quit, but didn't. Success did not love Leo because he was the most talented writer in the world. He wasn't. Success did not love him because he had a unique idea. He didn't. Success loved him for one reason, and one reason only: his consistency. It was in the daily effort, the discipline of the mundane, the raw power of his persistence. Success recognized its own. It saw the thousands of invisible hours and made them visible. It saw the quiet dedication and rewarded it with a voice. Your dream might not be to write a book. Maybe it's to build a business, to get in shape, to learn an instrument, to heal a relationship, to become a better version of yourself. The landscape is different, but the map is the same. It is a map drawn not in bold, dramatic lines, but in the faint, consistent pencil strokes of daily action. You will not feel motivated every day. Let go of that expectation. Motivation is a fickle friend who visits occasionally. Discipline is the family that never leaves you. Discipline is the bridge between your dream and your reality. It is the choice you make, over and over again, to be loyal to your future self, even when your present self is tired, scared, and unconvinced. Do not despise the small beginnings. Do not despise the single sentence. That sentence is a declaration of war against your doubts. That 5-minute workout is a victory over inertia. That one saved dollar is a brick in the foundation of your freedom. The world will not celebrate your daily efforts. The world celebrates the finished product, the outcome, the result. But you, a broken bar, you must learn to celebrate the process. You must find the dignity in the struggle. You must learn to love the climb itself, not just the view from the top, because the secret that no one tells you is that the top is just a moment. The climb is your life, the person you become on that climb, but the resilient, disciplined, persistent persona that is the real reward. The achievement is just the proof. So today, I am not asking you to change your life. I am not asking you to make a grand, sweeping gesture. I am asking you for one small, consistent thing. Just one. Show up. Write the sentence. Do the rep. Make the call. Practice the chord. And then, tomorrow, do it again. Do it when it's easy and do it when it's hard. Do it especially when it's hard, because that is when you are building the muscle of your character. That is when you are telling the universe, and more importantly, telling yourself, that you are serious. Success is not a lottery ticket. It is a harvest, and you cannot expect a harvest if you have not planted the seeds, watered the soil, and tended the field day after day after day, in sun and in storm. Your time is now, not tomorrow, not next Monday, not when you feel ready. Now, let this moment be the first small, consistent step on the path to everything you are meant to be. Success is waiting. It has been watching you all along, and it loves nothing more than consistency.